Howdy partners, it's your old buddy the Reddit writer. Welcome back to the Reddit Ranch. Come in and sit a spell and listen to the mighty fine tales I gotta tell. Our first story today is from a cowpoke that knocked up his girlfriend, but there is a problem, he doesn't want to be a father. Well now, I reckon that might be a bit of a problem, ain't it?
AITA for breaking up with my pregnant girlfriend because I don't want to be a father? I'm 25. And I have been with my now ex, who's 23, for a little over 3 months. I always made sure we used lots of precautions when we were together. I wanted to avoid a child. I have known for a long time that I do not want children. I find them annoying, and they would severely limit my ability to do the things I enjoy, traveling, outdoors stuff, etc. Unfortunately for me, my ex didn't have her monthly visitor when she was supposed to, and it turns out she's now pregnant. She came to me and told me she was pregnant. The first thing I did was suggest getting rid of it. We don't live in a state where it's legal, so I offered to pay for her flight and hotel and told her I'd be happy to come with her to get it done. I have a stable job and make good money, so it wouldn't be too much of a hit for me. She works as a receptionist and doesn't make a lot, so I figured it would be better for me to pay. That's when she told me she was hoping to keep it, and that she wanted me to help her raise the kid as its father. I have no intention of being a father. Beyond just my dislike of children, I'm not ready for that. I made it very clear that I didn't want the baby, but she kept insisting that I'd have a change of heart once it's born, and to just try it out. After a long exchange, I told her that if she intended to keep the baby, I would not act as a father. I broke up with her, and told her that I would pay child support once it's born, but that I expect her to respect my wishes and keep the child away from me. Since then, she's been frantically texting me, begging me to come back and telling me she'd forgive me. She's sent me voicemails crying, "It does hurt to see," but I haven't responded. The other day she texted me saying how she can't raise the kid alone, and how I'm basically forcing her to get rid of it just by leaving. She called me an and an abuser. She ended the text begging me to talk again. I certainly feel crappy. I really liked her, and we had a good relationship before this, but I just don't want to be a father. I'm already bitter about the fact that I'll have to pay child support for 18 years, which will somewhat limit me financially. I also feel it isn't right for a parent who doesn't want their child to be involved. I just end up taking that pent-up anger and bitterness out on the child who is ultimately innocent, which I feel isn't right. With all this said, I come here to ask AITA? I certainly feel like one, but I also stand by what I did. Clarifying edits. On the topic of a vasectomy, I tried. I met with a doctor last year and asked about getting one, but he refused and said every doctor he knows won't do it until you're at least 30. It's a conservative state, and while I dislike the politics, I was born and raised here, so I'm still attached to the state and have never felt the urge to leave. Someone said I should have flown elsewhere to get one, and I guess they're right, but I just didn't think about that. On the topic of birth control, I bought my own protection, so they were fine. Whenever we were done, I'd throw them in the dumpster, so I don't think she went dumpster diving. I asked her on our first date if she was taking birth control, and she said yes. I took her for her word. Maybe foolish to just believe her, but if she was lying, she'd be the first I've met to lie about that. Most girls I've met are honest about it. I assumed she was on the pill since that's the main birth control I know, but maybe she was on something else that I'm not educated enough on. That being said, I'll follow your advice and lawyer up, plus get a paternity test. I don't know how long that will take, but whenever I get it done, I'll update here with results. Thank you for your judgments. I've been away for a bit, but I'm catching up and trying to read what I can. I'll be checking back periodically and replying to some people. All further feedback is appreciated.
You know, partner, when I read y'all's title, I was all set to say that y'all's a sidewinder. But, after reading your story, I'm none too sure. I mean, y'all ain't planning on being a deadbeat pa. Y'all did say that y'all's willing to pay child support. But, I do reckon that the whole pregnancy thing sounds a mite bit fishy to me. The best advice I can give is, before y'all pay a dime, get a DNA test done. It may not even be yours. She may have cheated. Or another thought I had is, do y'all even know for sure how far along she is? I mean, are you sure she was not already pregnant when you two got together? Well, what y'all think? Do y'all think he's a sidewinder, or do y'all reckon he might want to look into it a mite bit closer? Let me know down in the comments. Our next one is about a little lady who has a husband that won't stand up to his own mother for his wife and younging's sake. Well, that ain't none too good now, is it?
What should I do? My husband betrays me and our son around my mother-in-law. Trigger warning, my mother-in-law has a history of mistreating my husband as a child. Our son is a typical 2-year-old toddler, and I am vegetarian. Both of these things are seemingly unbearable to my mother-in-law. But the frustrating part is that whenever we visit her, my husband becomes someone else. Aside from not standing up for me, which is a long-standing issue in our relationship, he is short and sharp with our son, with no patience or tolerance for normal toddler upsets. He usually is amazingly patient and a good father. He just turns this way around mother-in-law, I guess because that's what she expects. The really bad thing is when my husband was 2, he was found to have very serious injuries from mistreatment. These were eventually blamed on someone else, but my mother-in-law came very close to losing custody of him. It's crazy, but he's never tried to ask her about that, and all she ever does is talk about how whiny and horrible he was when he was a toddler. Like, yeah, he had multiple fractures. If she didn't do it, the fact that she failed to realize it was happening for a long time is bad enough, in my opinion. Does anyone have any insight on this, or know what I should do? Anyone have a similar experience? Thank you. Update to add. She will never be alone with my son, and for everyone asking why we go there at all, it sometimes is actually okay there. Which makes it complicated. I am keeping a diary of this trip on my phone, and will review at the end to make a decision as to whether we go again. Next time she mentions that she will pass soon anyway, I plan to ask her why she always says that.
Well, ma'am, I'll admit, I reckon I'm a mite bit surprised that when she says she's gonna pass soon, y'all haven't just asked when. The true sidewinders in this story are y'all's husband and his ma. His ma, well, the reason she's a failure is a mite bit obvious, but y'all's husband is just as big of a failure. It's a man's job to protect his family from all comers, even from his own ma. And he doesn't do that around his ma. What is he trying to do? Show his mom that he is as big of a sidewinder as her. I go no contact with her, and if need be, with him too, to keep you and y'all's youngings safe. Well, what do y'all think she should do? Do y'all reckon she should dump her hubby or not? Let me know down below. Our next story involves a young lady who has a fiancé that is complaining about her weight gain. Gee, ma'am, how'd y'all end up with such a winner?
My fiancé told me I have been gaining too much weight. I'm 24. When we started dating, I was 5 feet 2 inches and 150 pounds. 5 years later, I have gained about 30 to 35 pounds. I have fluctuated in weight a lot and actually was down to 145 pounds from 160 pounds last year, but gained a lot of it back and then some due to stress from moving, graduating, a cancer scare, and taking care of him through 2 surgeries. I know those all sound like excuses, but the stress was really not easy for me to manage. I started seeing a trainer last year and going to the gym more frequently. However, I have been struggling with food because I have only ever eaten 1 meal a day, and the transition to eating 3 meals a day and prioritizing protein has been hard for me to manage. I count my calories every single day but often go over because I haven't gotten enough protein in. Because I've been stressed/depressed, I have also had a lot of days that I just go over in calories, but I've tried to make it a point to log everything I eat every single day. My fiancé told me that I have been gaining too much weight and that he didn't want to marry someone he wasn't attracted to. He said I am still somewhat attractive as I am, but because I have been trending up the past few years, he wanted to let me know so that I could fix it. He said because he is 6 foot tall, attractive, and is in a good major, he deserves someone who is on his level. That by being with me, he feels I am his charity case. He said he did not want to feel this way, but he does. I know he is allowed to not be with someone due to attraction. But I feel like he wants me to lose weight because he deserves better, not because he is worried for my health. I have always paid for our dates and bought him things he wanted when I could afford it because he never has money. My family has always hated him, but tolerated him because I was with him, because they feel like he takes advantage of me. I feel like he knows I have been extremely stressed out due to the reasons listed above and then some. I know I have been gaining weight, but I have also been able to do so much more since I have started seeing my trainer. He always told me before that as long as I was getting the benefits of working out, more energy, getting stronger, that it would not matter. I know I can lose the weight, but I want to know if this relationship is worth staying in. I love him and I want to be with him, but not if he will always think that he deserves better. He did suggest couples therapy and additionally seeing a therapist on his own, but I do not want to feel like a lesser partner to him. Is this relationship worth working on?
Well, ma'am, I don't reckon it's a case of y'all not being worthy of him, but of him not being worthy of y'all. I know y'all say you love him, but I have my doubts that this sidewinder loves you, and I'm sorry, but I do have to agree with y'all's folks. I think he is using y'all. I think y'all should move on, find someone that truly loves you, y'all deserve so much better. Well now, I can't help but feel a mite bit bad for her. Have any of y'all ever been through such a thing? Let me know down in the comments. Our last story of the day is about a little filly who reckons her boyfriend, and her online bully, is the same person.
AITA for dumping my boyfriend who was moonlighting as my online bully? I wish I was lying, or at least motivated enough to sell this plot to Netflix. I'm 23, and I have been plagued for the past year by mean, vicious, personal attacks sent to my social accounts, my emails, and even my LinkedIn profile. They started off weird and cryptic and generally mean, but as time went on they got more personal, touching on fears and insecurities that I hadn't told anyone close to me about. These started around the same time I met and started dating my now ex. It was distressing as all the ways I would think to block this person didn't work. They found all my new accounts, emails, etc. I had made, but the torrent of hurtful diatribes continued. On good days, I would just be mildly disgusted and flick them into my trash. But on bad days, I would lay in bed, reading them until my eyes hurt. My boyfriend provided me comfort on these days, and generally would react very distressed when I told him about the newest message. This weird, almost TV plot, thing continued on, and I felt more and more isolated because it was so ridiculous. But it got under my skin. This is where my ex fudged up. He thought a good relaxation technique would be to try adult gummies. I had some before, but he had never tried them. He fell asleep promptly after taking them with his laptop open on the couch. Womp womp. I don't snoop. Until I did, moving it to the table, and seeing an open Gmail account and reading the username/email associated with the account to be the same as my most current letter from my secret admirer. I started going through all the emails and accounts, fake Instagrams, and even Google numbers all linking back to, well, I guess him. So now, I'm sitting there, reality shifting under my feet while he sleeps behind me on the couch. I woke him up with a hard shake and threw the laptop into his lap asking what the fudge I was looking at. I locked myself in my room and kicked him out in the morning, sober, and we haven't spoken since. My phones and emails have been quiet for the last 2 weeks except for a few text messages saying that his only intention was to show me he is a good caregiver. And wanted me to associate him with comfort and that I'm an who doesn't understand him. I feel for him, and everything on paper says we should work, but I don't feel this is something I can look past. How will I ever know what's real? AITA?
Wait a second, ma'am, why would y'all think you were a sidewinder, just for breaking up with a psychotic sidewinder like him? No, not at all. He was sending y'all through hell, just so he can show how good of a caretaker he can be. Oh hell, all this sidewinder was trying to do is to make so y'all feel dependent on him. Y'all did the right thing and y'all nipped it in the bud before it got worse. So, what y'all think? Should she have forgiven this sidewinder, or given him the boot? Let me know what y'all think. Well, I plumb reckon that's all the time we got today, but if y'all like this here video then please, hit like and subscribe, it'll really make this old cowpoke smile. And if y'all got anything to say, then feel free to tell me what's on your mind down in the comments. Until y'all come back to the Reddit Ranch. Adios.